Cheryl, could you give us a brief explanation of what is Open Door Outreach all about?
Open Door Outreach works with women who are marginalized by addiction and incarceration. And we do most of our work in the correctional center. We're in there Monday to Thursday, several times a day, meeting with women and doing programs, and then we work with them post-release as well.
Could you paint us a picture of what these women look like? Each of their stories is unique, but what are some of the common stories that you hear?
I would say about probably 95% of the women that we've met and talked with and heard their stories, there is some form of trauma in their childhood. And it could be the darkest things you've ever heard in your life, or it could be being kicked out of their home and when they're 14 years old. Things like that is very common in most of their stories.
Justice is a complex theme. How do you see it get played out in their lives?
Well, they are part of the justice system, and so from my point of view as a minister, as a Christian, the justice system has to be just. When you commit a crime, you have to do the time, and no matter whether you think that your sentence is harsh or somebody else's has got a better sentence than you did and their crime was more harsh, it doesn't matter in the end, because you have to do the time. And so the justice issue for them, though, is that there are many places in their lives, whether it be in their family life or in working with social services and their families or their partners or whatnot, where they've had great injustice done to them, and their response often is to act out because something was done to them, and therefore they have a right to do the things that they're doing, to act out the way they did. Then they end up in jail, and we confront them about their behaviors and their values and their thinking, and how that is going to either have to change in order for them to operate in this world, or we will see them back in jail again. So there's two things going on. There's injustices that have been done to them, but then they feel that gives them a right to be unjust to other people, whether it be their partner, their children, or their family, or society.
Well, in what ways, Cheryl, do you see the Christian faith speaking to those who've suffered injustice? Often these are the same people who've suffered injustice, but also maybe have perpetrated injustice.
We have the unique position of doing life skills programs every Tuesday, which is just what it says. It's about life skills, how to create boundaries, how to have a good relationship, and so on and so forth. And then we have the other side where we're chaplains and we're able to have chapel and Bible study, where we continually speak into their lives about the misconceptions that they have about who God is. And so it's an awesome responsibility, and it's like the full meal deal. And in that, we're forever confronting people about you are here for a reason, but this is not who you are. Okay, you've done crime. You might be living in an addiction and doing a lot of hurtful things to yourself and to the community. But this person that I see sitting in front of me in the chapel or in the resource room or wherever is not who you are. So our responsibility is to say, this is who God really is. This is how much He loves you. This is what He's done for you. I have a cross behind me on the wall that says that He loves you that much that He died for you. And even though you have a choice in the things that you're doing, He's forever calling you and seeking after you and wanting to give you another chance and another chance and another chance. But you must remember that someday your chances might run out because you're living a very dangerous life. So we have to confront where they're at and what they've done. Like, you're in jail, okay? But this is not who you are.
Mm.
And this is why we feel this way.
Do you see any misconceptions that the average churchgoer has about these women?
Well, this is going to sound really weird, but just because someone says a sinner's prayer doesn't mean that their life has changed. And if that is our only goal as a church, is to get people to say the sinner's prayer, then we've missed it. Because we haven't gotten to know the person, gotten to know them by name, and have a relationship with them. And that's what God does for us. He comes into relationship with us. He's after our heart. And there was a time in my life, in my early days, when I was trained, that was the way that the church dealt with anybody who wasn't a Christian, especially people who were in very dire situations. But I've discovered that a lot of people already know that it makes church people really happy if you pray this prayer. And so they'll pray it, right? Because it makes me happy, and I'll continue to visit them, right? And so we don't encourage people to give their heart to the Lord. We encourage them to encounter Jesus, and through that, they say to us, I would like to have Jesus in my life. And we're like, really? Okay.
I think that sometimes people look at women who are in prison and say justice means that someone who's done something wrong gets punished. But I think what I hear you describing in your ministry is, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, is that justice means giving women who have been suffered as well at the hands of other people a new opportunity to start again. Mm-hmm. And to, yes, deal for what they've done wrong, but also to create a life that is healthy and balanced and a productive part of society. Could you comment just sort of along those lines?
Well, Jesus talked a lot about justice issues, and that when he came, in Isaiah, it says that a bruised reed he would not snuff out, and that's what our women are, and many marginalized women are, like a bruised reed. And that was never his intention to hurt people any more than they're already hurt. Is not enough. I'll also say that there are times when we need to stand up for our ladies as they're getting out. We need to help them in different ways where people are not listening to them. Sometimes we have to go to appointments with them. Sometimes we have to coach them to stand up for themselves, or to be less aggressive with their with the way they deal with people in society. So in that way, we serve as we can help them on the outside with the injustices of their lives.
Cheryl, you can't always say the gospel clearly and articulately as some people might like to think. So how do you be the hands and feet of Jesus to these women in the prison in the midst of all of that?
Jesus said, when I was in prison, you visited me. He didn't say, when I was in prison, you had a Bible study with me. He said, you visited me. So the fact that we're there and we show up when we say we're going to show up, and we do what we say we're going to do, and we bring his love with that. We don't do this because we want something from you, we want your salvation. We do it because Jesus tells us to go. And when they tell us later that we're non-judgmental, then that blows me away, because the Church of Jesus Christ is known for being judgmental, right? Everything from our hair to our clothing to where we go and what we say and what we do, right? We tend to be that way. And when they said that about us, I was like, well, this is definitely Jesus. He has shown up in us, and we didn't even have to have a come to Jesus meeting.